Welcome to the Fresh Start Show, sponsored by 911 Restoration, the Fresh Start Company.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We are diving deep today into something that's really changing the game, IoT sensors, but specifically how they're being used in offices and workspaces.
Yeah.
We've got some really interesting sources here that lay out, well, frankly, some pretty incredible possibilities.
Yeah.
But also, some stuff we really need to stop and think about carefully.
Mm-hmm.
So picture this. You're walking into your office building.
Okay.
But it's not just any building. It's a building that is actually responding to you and everybody else who's inside.
Interesting.
And by the end of this deep dive, you'll know exactly how that's even possible,
Okay.
what the big benefits are, and what questions we should all be asking along the way, right?
I think what's so fascinating about this is how these sensors can actually connect the physical space to the digital world.
Yeah.
It's like they're these tiny little data collectors, and they're everywhere, just gathering information about how people are using the building, like in real time.
So it's not just about turning the lights off and on anymore.
It's so much more than that now.
I mean, I'm seeing the words energy efficiency all over these sources.
Oh, absolutely. Energy efficiency is a huge part of this.
Okay.
Think about occupancy sensors, for instance. They use things like infrared or ultrasonic technology just to tell if someone's in a room.
I see.
And then, based on that data, they can adjust the lighting, the heating, and cooling systems
Oh, wow.
automatically.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah, and studies have actually shown that doing this can reduce a building's lighting energy consumption by, get this, like 40%.
40%. Seriously.
Right.
That's incredible.
It's huge.
No wonder building owners are all over this technology.
Well, of course, yeah.
But it sounds like there's way more to it than, just saving some money on your electric bill.
Oh, for sure. I mean, think about the potential for, optimizing the space you have.
Okay.
Sensors can actually track how people are moving throughout the building.
You mean like where they're going?
Exactly which rooms are being used the most, even how people are interacting in those shared spaces.
So we can finally figure out if we really need, all those individual desks everyone has.
You got it. This data can really help companies make good decisions about their office layout.
I see, yeah.
Maybe they realize, hey, we actually need more collaborative areas and fewer private offices.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And that's a more efficient use of space, which could potentially save them money on those real estate costs too.
Right.
But there's even evidence that a well-designed workspace, one based on this real usage data, can actually make people more productive.
Which makes sense. If your employees are happy and comfortable, they're going to get more done. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, if I'm a company looking for office space,
Yeah.
I'm going to be more attracted to a building that has all this cool tech, right?
It's like a selling point almost.
Yeah, for sure. For tenants, these sensor-equipped spaces just offer a more modern, connected experience.
I get it.
And for building owners, it's a way to attract and keep those tenants, and often at a higher price, too.
So is this kind of like a win-win situation?
In many ways, yes.
The company gets this awesome space to work in.
Right.
The building owner's making more money.
Exactly.
Everybody's happy, right?
And on top of that, there's also the whole sustainability aspect to think about.
Oh, right.
Using tech to cut down on energy consumption, optimize resource usage that aligns really well with, the growing focus on being environmentally responsible.
Definitely, yeah.
It's a powerful message about the company's commitment to both sustainability and innovation.
Makes them look good, you're saying?
Uh-huh. And that can be a big draw for clients and for talent, too, especially in a competitive market.
That's a good point. But hold on a second. All this data collection, is fantastic for efficiency and everything.
Right.
But doesn't it raise some red flags about privacy?
It definitely does.
Nobody wants to feel like they're being watched 24/7, you know what I mean?
I completely agree. You're hitting on a really crucial point here.
Yeah.
The potential for misuse of this data is a serious concern. That's why it's so important to implement these systems with really strong security measures and be transparent about it all.
So what are we talking about here? Specific safeguards?
Well, first off, the data should be anonymized as much as possible. That means it can't be traced back to individual people.
Okay, that makes sense.
And companies need to be very upfront with their employees about what data is being collected and how it's actually being used.
So it's not just about the technology itself.
Yeah.
It's about how it's used and who has access to that information, right?
You got it. And this isn't just limited to offices either.
Really?
These sources talk about applications in healthcare, retail, public spaces. I mean, you name it.
Wow. Okay. So give me some examples. How could this stuff be used outside of a, traditional office setting?
Sure. Imagine a hospital using sensors to keep track of bed occupancy in real time. That would help them manage their resources better, maybe even cut down on wait times.
Interesting.
And then in retail, you could use sensors to analyze customer traffic patterns.
How does that help?
Well, it could help stores design their layouts better, improve the flow, figure out where to put certain products.
I see. Yeah.
And even in something like a public park, you could use sensor data to understand how people are actually using the space and then make improvements based on that.
Wow. It really does sound like the possibilities are kind of endless.
Pretty much.
So if I'm getting this right, the main takeaway here is that these IoT sensors,
Yeah.
they have this incredible potential to make our spaces more efficient, more responsive to our needs, maybe even more enjoyable to be in.
I think that's a great summary.
But we can't ignore the privacy and security concerns. Those have to be addressed right up front.
Absolutely. And it sort of leaves us with this, this really interesting question to think about. What if this data, used ethically and responsibly, could not only optimize buildings, but actually create truly personalized environments?
Like environments that can anticipate our needs and preferences.
Exactly.
Whoa, that's a pretty wild thought to leave us with.
It is.
Makes you wonder what the future holds and what role this kind of technology will play in our lives.
It's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Well, thanks for diving into this with us today.
My pleasure.
You've definitely given me a lot to think about.
Good. That's the goal.
To everyone listening, thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.
The Fresh Start Show have been sponsored by 911 Restoration, the Fresh Start Company.